Hey guys, sorry about the squeaks. I'm the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you with a video on running. I've been meaning to make this for a while because I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast like a week or so ago, and I heard of a girl named Courtney Dauwalter. Never heard of her before, but she does these. She's an ultra marathon runner, and what she does is she goes to these places like Colorado where the elevation is really, really high. And just a quick story about elevation. Last year when I was in Germany, and me and my friends decided to go hiking. I hadn't seen them in a while, and we, go hiking. And I go to run a little bit. I try to run the hills because it's fun. It's good exercise. And I was like, ooh, getting out of shape. I thought I was like, getting really out of shape, which I guess I was, but I wasn't realizing that as we were running, the elevation got higher and higher, and I was like, oh, got hypoxia. But it wasn't really hypoxia. I just really overdid it, and I really underestimated, and I don't even think we went that high. 30,000 feet, 40, 50,000 feet above sea level. It wasn't that bad. At least compared to the Colorado Trail. Because I had only done a couple of miles, maybe. Colorado Trail is over 490 miles, and most of it is at 70,000 feet of elevation. So the air is pretty thin up there. For those of you that don't know what blood doping is something that is illegal in the Olympics. It is when you extract your blood from yourself, however much you want to extract. And then obviously when you extract blood and then your body makes more over time, eventually what you do is you inject that blood back into you right before an event. So this way, so much oxygen is raging inside you and can carry to your muscles. And but it's illegal. You can't do it. Again, at least not in the Olympics or many other professional sports. However, you can. There is a way around that. A way around that is to go to some place like Colorado or the mountains of Germany, wherever there is high elevation. You train there. Your blood will thin naturally because there's not a lot of oxygen up there. So it thins. There's not as much there. And then when you get back to normal elevation, it's like, okay, thick blood. Okay, now your blood, or maybe is it that you have the blood gets thick, you get more blood because the air is thin, so you need more oxygen. Whatever it is, as soon as you get back down to normal elevation, suddenly all of this oxygen starts running into your blood, and you're like, oh yeah, you feel like Iron Man after he discovers a new element. You're like, oh, so it's really cool, but that just goes to show you how crazy the elevation is. It goes to show you how intense it is. That is what a lot of athletes do to gain a real significant competitive advantage in their sport or arena. And the world record, I think, someone might correct me on this, was 8 days and 22 hours for this almost 500-mile trek with insane elevation. And this one girl, Courtney Dauwalter, Courtney Dauwalter, whatever, Courtney D. Her and a bunch of them were going to try to do it, and I guess they had like a team following them, and and apparently you're not supposed, you don't sleep, you get a little bit of sleep, but running that many miles, and again, this is the only time I have a freaking calculator. So let's say 400, because she wanted to beat the record by a day. So let's say 495 divided by 8 days. 61 miles a day. That's 2.5 marathons. Oh my god, that is insane. So it's 8 times 24. You're looking at 192 hours plus the other 22 hours. So it's 214 hours to run 495. So 495 divided by, I don't know what it was. 8 times 24. Okay, plus 22. All right, so 214. 214. Let's remember that. So 495 divided by 214. You have to run 2.3 miles an hour, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's without sleeping. You have to do that. You ever try to... there was a challenge I think Lex Friedman did, where you're supposed to run 48 miles in 48 hours. Alright, so it's just 4 miles every 4 hours. 4 miles, you take a rest, 4 hours later you run another 4 miles, and that's really hard. I haven't tried it. I don't think I could because my knees and my hips and everything are all cracked up. Maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when I was in the military before my before my knees and my body was crumpled. Um, so yeah, it's insane. This, like, I don't think humans were meant to do something like this, but they are, and she was beating the record by like 22 hours ahead of it. And for my medical friends out there, you're supposed to have about, when you take your O2 levels, it's supposed to be about 95% oxygen. Give or take, maybe a little bit more. Not really less, because anything below 90 is like, oh, you should probably see a doctor for that. Like 80, 85, you should definitely, okay, you need to go to a doctor, emergency room right now, because you do not have enough oxygen to your brain. She like collapsed. She was wheezing because of the dust up there and lack of good oxygen. And I don't know how many, like 300 plus miles she ran, and she was doing really well. And it just, had she kept going, she probably would have died, because she went to the emergency room, and she had 70% oxygen. Her O2 levels were 70, which is the lowest I've ever seen. Being working in an animal hospital, that is the lowest I've ever seen. I think I saw a few animals in the 80s because they were dying. But yeah, that is definitely the lowest I've ever seen. That's incredible. She didn't die. Had she not experienced those things, yeah, she was going until she would have beat it. But that's fucking incredible. Why I wanted to talk about this is because, yeah, a lot of America's out of shape. And also don't feel bad when people say like, oh, that's all you did. Like, no, like, try to uplift others. Try to be able to say like, hey, if you're doing something, that's better than nothing. If you're at least trying, that's something that you can do, and just get a little bit better each week, each day, whatever you want. That's something that I think we should try to uplift more. Because a lot of people, they don't want to go to the gym because like, oh, they think like, oh, what's this fat guy doing here? What's this kid with the skinny arms doing? They don't belong here. No, dude, if you're trying to get better and you're not an asshole, just, I think a lot of us people that go to the gym and say like, okay, try to help them out. Try to be able to say like, okay, you need any help with anything? You need a spot. And when I want to say super athletes, when people like me, sometimes I don't mean to be an asshole about it, but I always say like, I'm so fat, I'm so out of shape, and which I think I am. I honestly, because I've been in very top physical condition before, like 8-pack, being able to run forever, sit-ups forever, boxing forever, like punch forever, like I would not get tired. So that I don't want to say like elite level, not Olympic level, but definitely okay, I can pass a military PT test with no problem. I can do a bunch of extended stuff too, but there's, when somebody says that, like a top level athlete says like, oh, I feel fat and out of shape, that is feeling fat and out of shape to them, but that doesn't mean that they think you, let's say if you're a little chubby, a little chunky, they're not trying to talk down upon you. They're not. Most of these people want to see other people get in shape because that's what they do, and they want to grow their hobby. Like I do that with Pokemon all the time. Someone doesn't know anything about it, ask me anything. I want to educate you as best I can. I want to show you what hobby's done for me, how it grows, how you can make so much money with it. But when they say that, they're just thinking of them because they are not doing the best that they can. And it's weird. It's bad. It's you really have, like, especially during lockdown. Like I was very, very depressed because gyms weren't open, and I could do what I can outside, but I just wasn't the same person. Like myself at 13 could have kicked my ass because I didn't have anything to do. But yeah, as long as this is something that I think is a really good motivational piece. I talked to my friend Nicole about it. Like, hey, check out what this girl did, and that motivated me to run. Like whatever motivates you to run and to just get better, I think that's something that do it because for people that don't exercise, it's not good if you don't exercise. Not just for your body, like, because some people, they happen to sorry, I got a message. Some people, they just can have a good body. They don't get fat, and they're just built like tanks already, and they don't really need to work out because they look okay. I'm telling you, your mind will function so much better if you work out. I swear, it makes you sharper. I don't have any studies that show it right now. I can't link them, but just Google it. Go to other different places and just go and look on the internet and say, like, okay, this is what it does. Maybe it helps glial cells. Maybe it helps you live longer, wards off dementia. Whatever it does, it's just, I feel better when I'm in shape, and I'm slowly getting back there. I've only had the gym for 6 weeks-ish, whatever it is, but I feel better every day. And that's something that I think is extraordinarily important, not only for longevity, not only to be vain, although, and again, part of my, if anyone saw my video, how to get girls when you're ugly, dude, a body helps. I swear to God, like, that is guy makeup. That is makeup for guys. You can hide your ugly if you have guns. Like, I don't right now, but I swear, like, that's something that helps, you know, a lot. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. It is like 7 o'clock. I'm still at the office, so I gotta wrap this one up. I have some Pokemon cards to list. I will catch you all later. All right, bye-bye.